guys, I am super excited and pumped because I'm bringing y'all a surprise tonight. Dr. Cheryl Woods. Y'all, in case y'all don't know, she is an international empowerment speaker. She has also done 10X. She is also the CEO and the founder of SpeakerCon Global Speakers University. But without further ado, let me bring my girl up, Dr. Cheryl Woods. Hey,
Hey, look,
beautiful.
I'm just so honored to be here with the seven-figure boss, baby. Come on.
I am excited for you to be here because you are like killing it. So, for
Thank
some of the people, for the audience that may not know who you are, give them a breakdown.
Oh my goodness. So I always like to give the personal and the professional. The personal side
Come
of me,
on.
I am a wife and a mother of three. I have three teenagers who are crazy. I mean, amazing. I have two sons. One's in ninth grade, one's in 10th grade. So they're 15 and 16, driving me crazy. And I have a daughter who's the oldest and she's 19. And they are just the loves of my life.
That
Um,
is one of the things that made me fall in love with you and how you're like, you know what, family first.
Yeah, it's
You
so
know,
important. It's just so important. I think sometimes people lose sight of that on their mission to create legacy or their mission to develop wealth. And I mean, I think we've all learned through society things we've seen that wealth doesn't make you happy.
come on
Wealth
now.
gives you options and choices. Money gives you options and choices, and allows you to create a certain lifestyle for yourself. But happiness has to stem from within and from the things that really means something to you. And for me, family is everything. So my husband and I, we've been together we're going on 22 years and we still like each other. The other day we was around here flirting and carrying on. I was like, this is some nonsense 20 something years later, but it's beautiful. So very, very close to family. Of course, I'm a God-fearing woman, and just everything family. And then in terms of the professional side, Dr. Cheryl Wood, I am, yes, an international speaker. I have had the privilege of speaking for some of the world's top organizations, Fortune 500 companies. I've spoken for NASA, the United Nations, Prudential, Capital One. The list goes on and on and on. I'm a best-selling author 21
Come on
times.
now.
Yes, 21 times, and currently working on book number 22 and 23.
Come on.
I am a leadership expert and I'm the founder of Global Speakers University, which really is a training and development company designed to really equip women entrepreneurs with the tools that they need to master their message, to really craft their story in a powerful and compelling way, and then to get out into the world and not only make impact with their story and their message, but to monetize it. I always say we have the birthright to impact millions and make millions. It does not have to be either or. So I really do work with women to help them increase their confidence in sharing their voice, to increase the clarity of sharing their voice so they know exactly what their solutions are in the marketplace and how they can serve people, and then how to be compelling and captivating whenever you're speaking, whether it's on a large stage in front of a large audience or if it's a one-on-one conversation, really getting people to buy into your vision and your solution for a pain that they're currently experiencing.
I love it. Well, being that you said I can ask anything, I'm just going to ask it. So, how is it for you being in a field that, everybody say that is dominated by men?
Yeah. So, sometimes it can feel frustrating. Um, but here's my belief. My belief is, what else am I going to go back to? Like, I
Mm.
came from a corporate environment. I worked as a legal secretary for 15 years. I sat in a cubicle, a 10 by 10 cubicle with no window for 15 years, where I felt like that thing was just sucking the life out of me. I had no freedom. I didn't have time freedom. I didn't have financial freedom because they capped my salary at what they thought I was worth. And I certainly didn't have creative freedom, the ability to be the most creative being I could be, because I had to follow what they said do. Here's what we hired you to do this thing and stick to that. Don't cross these lines. So when you come from that environment of punching a time clock and building somebody else's dream and
Mhm.
coming when they say come and leaving when they say leave and having to fill out a piece of paper to ask for a day off, or to have to go through struggle to get a day off because your kid is sick. When you come from that and then you go into the space of doing what you know you're born to do and the thing that feels like breathing to you, you kind of expect that you got to take the good and the bad. And so it's
Yes.
fortunate right now that speaking is still a very much a male dominated industry, but I believe that's up to us as women to change,
Amen.
right? Because they're not going to change it for us. Men aren't going to change it for us. We've got to change it, which means we have to make sure that we are taking the time to master the art of speaking so that we have what it takes to be on those stages and those platforms, so that there's enough noise about who we are, how we serve, and how we touch people's lives, where we get the opportunity to really disrupt the marketplace, especially as it relates to speaking.
Disrupt.
Because of how powerful and profound our messaging is and how we show up on stage. Like, I believe we will be disruptors through action, and the action has to be connected to a skill set that we have been intentional in developing, so that we're not just good, we're amazing on stage, we're dominating, not just dabbling in it
Mhm.
just because we can.
And you're seeing how a lot of these male speakers, not mentioning names, where they're going after women.
Yeah.
They're going after women.
Isn't that the crazy part? Like,
That's
now
the
wait a minute,
crazy part.
you would think that I'm a woman, so I speak your language, my sister, right? Like, I get you more than a man would get you. And yet they are dominating, and like you said, very intentional in going after the market. But again, that's up to us to change. We need more women stepping up to the plate, and not just stepping up to the plate to serve and say, I'll speak, but to really give people above and beyond what their expectations are. There have been some people in the marketplace who have served people, and people feel bruised and battered and broken from their experiences with those individuals. And when we do that, every time a woman does that, it sets us back, even further. And
Mm.
they end up going to the male to get the
Mhm.
information that really we are more qualified to deliver to them, because we've walked the talk of being a woman. We walk it every day. We talk it every day. So we've got to make sure that we are stepping up to the plate as it relates to how we serve, how well we serve. Are we a woman of our word? Do we deliver what we say we're going to deliver? And also, do we play in the space of not only, oh, I motivate you, empower you, and make you feel good, but I also teach you some valuable skills that you're going to walk away with, that you can implement and get results and outcomes, not just it felt good to me. And that's
Oh
what I
my
find a
God.
lot of our male counterparts are doing. They're giving results. Men are very results driven, and they're taught to hunt and bring something back. Don't just go hunt and come back home empty handed. Go hunt and bring something back for us to eat. So as women, we've got to tap into, are we teaching our clients? Are we teaching them real life skills, life strategies that help them to have and experience real outcomes after they've coached with us or been serviced by us?
Wow, it's so crazy that you say that, because when I was interviewing a lot of people for the Seven Figure Boss Summit, I said, I love the whole empowerment side of it. Not a hater. I love it. I said, but I need for my audience to walk away with something tangible
Yeah,
that they can implement.
yeah,
I said, because when you think about it, that motivation, that excitement, it lasts for a moment.
yeah,
If you are giving your clients with actionable items that they can actually implement to improve their lives, it changes literally everything.
yeah.
So, how did it feel for you that last day on your job when you said, you know what? I want to walk in. I'm doing something that I wanted to do for me and my family.
Well, ironically, my story is kind of twofold. So first I walked away and I was all, like, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to be a speaker. Yes. And the funny thing that I learned after that is that people love you as a speaker when you're free. But when you put a price tag to that thing, baby, and you require that people invest in having you come speak on it, the game changes. So the first time I left my job, I quit on the premise of everybody telling me how great I was as a speaker, but nobody was paying me as a great speaker. So I just assumed that they would know that I'm not on the job anymore. This is my full-time revenue. And so come on, y'all, hire me. Come on, y'all know how good I am. You've seen me do this thing. So let's do it. And it was like crickets. It was like crickets, which taught me that people will accept your free for as long as you are willing to give it.
Wow.
And so I played in that space. I stayed home for about probably a year, maybe a year and a half. My husband ended up getting laid off in the midst of it. So now we two grown broke folk in the house looking at each other, talking about what we're going to do. I'm trying to pursue this dream and this passion. I got God in my ear saying this is the thing I'm supposed to do. But then I got BG&E and mortgage in this ear talking about, look at here, you got to pay these bills.
Wow.
So it was a struggle. And about a year and a half in, I went back to work. And it's so crazy because that was in the time frame when we were in this era of entrepreneurs who were basically coaches who were saying like, oh, you're nothing if you're not a full-time entrepreneur. They were in effect bashing and making people like me feel less than if we still had a full-time job. It was like that was like a whole era. So Adrienne, when I went back to work, it was probably I felt like that was the lowest I had ever been in my entrepreneurial journey because I felt like such a failure. And it was so bad. It's so crazy, but it's so bad because my family needed it. Like we were in financial ruins. We lost everything. We lost our home. We lost our cars. When I tell you, we were down to nothing before I finally went back. And then to know that you're at nothing and still have shame about going back to do what you have to do to feed your family, no one should ever be made to feel that way. So I went back to a job. I ended up getting a temporary assignment for 3 months to cover. I was legal secretary. So I was covering for a girl who was out on maternity leave. At the end of that 3 months, my intention was to leave. But the company, which is a major transportation company, I was working in their legal department. They were just like, first of all, when I don't do nothing halfway. If I come in, I'm coming in with the fire. Just know that. So whether it's sweeping the floor, or whether it's answering the phones or typing a letter, Dr. Cheryl coming with the fire. So I come in and I come with the fire, and they're just like, look, can we talk to you? Like, we can't let you go. Like we need you to work. We got a full-time position for you with full benefits, paying this much a year, and we don't just want you in the law department. We want you to be the executive legal secretary to the general counsel of the of this law department for this big train transportation company. And a part of me was like, I don't want to. I was like, no. But then the other part was like, girl, you got bills. Stop playing. So I accepted the job. And every day I would go to my job, and I would kind of have my head down because I didn't want nobody seeing me going to a job.
Oh my God.
It was that kind of shame. And this is why now I free people that I serve. And I say, don't you ever be ashamed of doing what you need to do for your family. Don't you ever make anybody make you feel less than because you are working a job, because that job is allowing you to do not only things for your family, but to invest in your business, invest in your vision, invest in your brand. And when that money is gone, now you sitting there looking stuck. That ain't cute. So yeah, going to a job that you ain't absolutely in love with ain't cute, but being at home broke that's even worse. And so I share that story authentically so that other people won't experience the shame, the feelings of humiliation, embarrassment, and even borderline depression that I experienced because I had to go back and work a job. Now, here's the funny part. I promise I'll wrap this up so you can see your next question.
No, you're good. No, this girl, I'm up here like,
The funny part, Adrienne, was this is going to make me emotional. Lord have mercy. I never lost sight of what my heart desired. Like I knew without a shadow of a doubt I was born to speak. Like I was born to speak into people's lives. I was born to serve through my oratory skills. That yes, it's a natural gift, but also I've been intentional about making sure I'm responsible for that gift by studying the gift and mastering the skill around the gift. So my calling was still pulling on me, even when I went back to that full-time job. So much so that when I accepted the position, I went into the general counsel's office. And when you're in a law firm, any type of company in the law department, they always have these like flyers of events that the attorneys can attend because they have to get continuing education credits, right? Every year. So they have to go to these conferences where they get educated and they get these CEUs. So
I'm sitting over here like, no, you didn't.
Look, there was a flyer, and on the flyer was all these attorneys that were going to be speaking the technical talk. But at the bottom of the flyer was a picture, and the picture was of a Black woman, and the name said Valerie Burton, motivational.
Girl, I love her.
Look, it said motivational speaker. Adrian, me and my crazy self, I go into my boss's office, who's about to be my boss. We're sitting down talking about working out the money and stuff. And I said, oh, see this? See this? I said, here's what I need you to know. I'm going to take the position, but I'm not going to be here long. I said, see this flyer right here? See this lady right here? Named Valerie Burton. See, it says motivational speaker. That's going to be me one day. So I'll come and I'll give you my all. I'll come and I'll work harder than anybody else works. But I just need to be upfront and honest that that's my dream. So I will not be here long. That's how assured I was of what I was born to do. And thank God she didn't kick me out of her office and say, look at here, crazy, get on out of here. They hired me. I stayed on the job for exactly 1 year and 3 months. And then you know how God will remind you, like, remember what you said? Remember you said this was just going to get you back on your feet and that you were really going to be speaking and pouring into people's lives. And I had an opportunity to be a host of a radio show. But the radio show would happen every Tuesday in the middle of the day at 2:00. So that meant, how could I do that? And I'm working a full-time job. So I go into my boss's office. I tell her what the opportunity is. I tell her I really want to take it. But what that would mean is on Tuesdays, hey, could I use this time for my lunch break, the 2 to 3, and then I'll come back and I'll work an additional hour at night so that I don't have to pass by on this opportunity. And she said no. Her response was no, because if we do it for you, we've got to do it for everybody. Well, that was really God's way of ushering me out of that space, because you can get real comfortable real quick with the thing called direct deposit. You can forget how uncomfortable you really are because of the comfort of having a certain amount of money in your bank account every 2 weeks, even though you're not happy, you're not fulfilled, it's not your purpose or your calling, and everything is telling you to walk away, but you are afraid to walk away, especially when you have already hit rock bottom before and you know what that feeling feels like. So I was terrified to walk away. So for me, from my perspective, that was God's way of saying, daughter, it's time. I know you failed before. I know it felt like you failed, but it actually was giving you ammunition that you need to succeed this time around. It was giving you the information that you need to be able to do things differently, to learn what your worth is, to negotiate different, so that you can succeed this time. I can't afford for you, daughter, to get stuck right here, comfortable again, because all these people that I have lined up to be impacted by you, I have a purpose to use you as a vessel. And if you don't leave this job, you're going to get stuck and comfortable again, and you will not fulfill your destiny.
And that brings me to this next question.
Yeah.
Because I know that you set those goals. I know that you set them. You had already told the lady before you took the job, this is my goals right here. So why was she kind of surprised that you wanted to take off that Tuesday? I don't know. But how did you stay committed to your goals, even though it looked like your world around you was falling apart? Because you think about it, most people would have used that as an excuse with, well, okay, God, maybe this is not what you called me to do, because now my husband's laid off.
Yep.
I'm not getting paid for speaking. How did you stay committed to those goals?
Ooh, well, first of all, I'm a disruptor, and I have there's a tenacity in my spirit that I can't even explain. Like, I think God gave that to me because he knew I was going to fail a lot. And he knew, he was like, all right, with this one, I'm good, because she's gonna fail and she's gonna get back up and she's gonna try again. So there's just this tenacity in my spirit where I will not give up. Like, I will hunt and hunt and hunt until I capture what I want. And I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how slow it seems like I'm going. I don't care who closed the door because they think they're the only answer to that. No, no. Okay, you closed that door. You thought you were the answer to the thing. Guess what? I serve a higher being, and he's gonna take me in through the VIP entrance. And anybody who knows anything about VIP entrance, VIPs don't never come in with the general admission people. We don't come in through the front door, baby. We come in through the back door.
Come on, amen.
You didn't even know the VIP entrance was back there. We don't come in through the front with everybody. So I just relied, number one, on God, my faith, to say, God, if you assigned it to me, I know that you will make a way. I don't know how. And sometimes it seems like this thing ain't really going to happen, but I'm trusting in you. I'm trusting that you are someone you're going to fulfill every promise that you've put into my heart, because you're a God of love. So why would a God of love put in my heart a desire to speak and serve from platforms and stages all over the world, but not give me what it takes to fulfill that desire? So my faith is very strong. Now, number two, my tenacity to get what I want. You ain't never going to tell me what I can't have. That's how I feel in life. You ain't never going to tell me what I have. And if I can't get it from you, I'm gonna go over there. And if I can't get it from them, I'm gonna go over there. And if it's and I'm also patient with my journey. So I'm patient in that. You know how, have you ever seen like on one of the animal channels, how long a lion will sit and wait?
Girl, just wait.
That's me. Like, I will wait however long it takes, God. However long. Like, it don't have to be tomorrow. Okay. But if you say stick with it, I'm gonna stick with it. So I have this stick with it attitude. I call it gorilla glue commitment, right? Used to be back in the day, it was crazy glue. You remember crazy glue? It ain't no crazy glue no more, baby. They using gorilla glue. They're using gorilla glue. I have a gorilla glue commitment. And I think about that young lady who used that gorilla glue on her hair. It had to be surgically removed. She couldn't just wash that thing away. She couldn't just, nothing that she did. It had to be surgically removed by a physician, and it had to be done carefully. That's how I feel about my connection and my commitment to my purpose. You would have to surgically remove it from me. Like, I want it so bad that it won't leave me alone. So even when I wanted to quit in times where things were going left and everything was failing and it seemed like nothing was working in my favor, I couldn't abandon it because it wouldn't leave me alone. It started to become the loudest voice in my mind, louder than the voice of, hey, you failed the last time, you might fail again. It became louder than the voice of, hey, these people over here said they want to help you, but they ain't gonna help you. Hey, it got louder than the voice of, Cheryl, you ain't good enough, you not work. Whatever the doubts, the questions, the what ifs, the lack, my voice of possibility was louder than that voice, which now became my voice of reason to say, Cheryl, there is something greater on the other side of what you're currently experiencing and the life that you're currently living, but you will never experience it if you quit now. And I just held on to that.
So true. That is so true. So how do you feel about people that don't set goals? How do you feel like it impacts their life, their business?
Yeah, I mean, we've all heard the quote that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So you've got to, a part of your planning has to be goals that you're striving for. I always say it's important that we have in our mind's eye a finish line that we want to cross, right? Because now you can measure how close you are getting to that finish line. It's almost like a runner who runs a marathon, and that runner knows, okay, the finish line, that means I got to run 26.2 miles to get to the finish line. And they have certain little markers that let them know, hey, now you're at 14 miles. Hey, now you're at 16 miles. Hey, you're here. And so that person is able to see, how am I feeling? Do I still have the energy that I need? Do I need to stop and get a little drink of water? They're able to measure and assess what they've done, what they've already accomplished, so they can look back and be like, all right, I'm at mile marker number 15. Man, that means I done already knocked down 15 miles. I got this many more to go. I can do it. So it's the same with goals. When you write the goals down, you can look back, peek back real quick and be like, okay, well, I've already come this far as it relates to accomplishing this goal. And now I have this much further to go before I cross the finish line. But here's the beautiful thing. Once you cross that finish line, the finish line moves. So you should never get to a place where you don't have a finish line in mind, There has to be another finish line. So as soon as I cross one, I'm like, then let me create a new set of goals and a new finish line. And then I create a new, and I just keep doing that, because in life, as long as you have life and breath in your body, you should be learning, you should be growing, you should be striving for something greater than you have right now, for something more than you are right now. And whether that's accomplishing more in terms of wealth or impact or influence, or maybe you're mentoring other people, there's always another finish line to cross. So I believe you need to write the goals down. You need to measure them and assess them frequently. How am I doing? Is there anything that's keeping me from accomplishing that particular goal, which is preventing me from getting to the finish line? Like, what are you can do a SWOT analysis. What are the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats against these goals? And then really be intentional about pursuing them. And then you got to be honest with yourself. If you're not accomplishing the goals, you've got to analyze, am I my own worst enemy in not accomplishing these goals? And you got to analyze, what's the goals that you keep putting on the list? Because you ain't get it done last year, right? Like, you ain't get it done.
No, that's right. Come on now.
This year. And then you put it on again next year. And you had every vision board party, child. January 1st, you about 10, 15 vision board parties, and you ain't accomplished nothing you put on your goal list. It's like, you gotta analyze, like, why do I keep having this same goal every single year, or every time I create my goal list? There's something that's missing. And now if you write it down, guess what? You have something to look at to say, okay, I said I wanted to, let's say, lose weight, release 50 pounds. I've been saying that for 3 years. What is stopping me from releasing the 50 pounds? And then you can go into analyzing, why, what's preventing you, what's stopping you, and what behaviors, patterns, attitudes you need to shift so that you can finally accomplish the goal.
Amen. If you notice, most people don't write it down. And
No.
the reason they don't write it down, because it's almost like it's that accountability to yourself.
Yep.
And to other people that you've written it down to. So I'm curious, because I know with my kids, and I'm pretty sure I already know the answer. But girl, I've been having my kids do goal and vision boards for like ever. We moved from the goals, and I was just like, you know what? I want for y'all to start doing vision boards. Dream a little, because a lot of times we don't dream,
right?
Because we're afraid that it's not going to happen. Did you share this process with your kids, with writing down goals, and how did it go?
Oh yeah. My husband and my kids have been on this journey with me, which is why it's so beautiful to be in this season of the journey now. Because when I talked about earlier about, the sacrifices that I made financially, all that, I wasn't the only one making the sacrifice.
That's right.
My whole family made the sacrifice. My husband made the sacrifice. Once we I was like, this is what I really want to do. I really want to be intentional in pursuing it, because I want my life to change, because I want our lives to change. We stopped going on vacation. We didn't take a family vacation for 6 years straight. So I wasn't the only one that was impacted by the goals and the mission. They were impacted. So yeah, I needed them to see the goals. I needed them to experience where I was. I used to come home and I would bring my check home from a speaking engagement, and I would make all of my kids come down, and I would make everybody look at the check. And I would say, this is why mommy was gone. She made impact. She touched people's lives, but look at the check she came home with. And it might be a $15,000 check. And I say, mommy was on stage for 1 hour, and I came home with a $15,000 check. Right. So I needed them to be able to connect the dots between the difference in our life, how they could start to see the difference in our life, our lifestyle, the things that they were able to have access to, the options that we were able to have, and the choices about, okay, well, guess what, guys, we get to fly to Africa first class. We get to go here, and we get to have VIP, or we get to go to this 5-star restaurant. Like, all of those things are a result of putting the work in. So then the connection for them was, but when it's time to work, it's time to work. So we can't just have fun. We can't just be consumers. Mommy also has to be a producer in the world. And that means I've got to leave sometime, and I got to be gone and fly to another city, state, or country for a few days and come back. But this is what is required. And then for my events, my conferences, my kids, they in here putting stuff in swag bags. Like, it's a whole family thing. My sons, for pretty much every event that I've hosted, they are the hosts at the door. They're greeting my guests. Hi, welcome to SpeakerCon. Hello, welcome to this event. Hello, I got them in their little tuxedo, baby. They looking fine. They right? Like they need, because I need them to visually be able to see where we came from, where we are now, but what is the work that we've had to put in to
The
get,
work.
and what's the work I continue to put in to sustain it all. Because see, some
Yes.
people think they're gonna arrive. I didn't arrive. Now I don't. You still got to market. You still have to promote. You still got to get out and speak to people. You still got to connect. You still got to network. Like all the stuff that got me here. In order to sustain it, I have to keep doing those things. So I still get on airplanes and go to conferences and connect and network. Just this morning, I was at a networking event this morning. I went to I've never been there before, but it came up on my Eventbrite, and I didn't have any travel this week. I'm going to network so I connect with new people and expand my community. A couple days ago on Saturday, I went to my first Toastmasters. Never been to Toastmasters ever in almost 13 years. Went to Toastmasters. Why? Because I still want to be a student, and I also want to expand my community and connect with other people who are in alignment with the thing that I want to do, which is serve the world through the power of our voices. So yeah, it's ongoing, and I want them to see the ongoing journey so that they know that yes, they have the ability to also pursue the thing that they love and to make it profitable and to impact lives, but that it's not going to be free, easy, quick, or convenient.
I love it. So, what would you say is the fondest memory so far of your career as a speaker and coach?
Well, you would think it would be one of them big checks I came home with, but that's not
Knowing
it.
you, I don't think so.
That's I mean, it has been a blessing to be able to say that I can garner $20,000 to speak for 45 minutes. But that is definitely not the biggest, fondest memory. I think for me, the fondest memory would be my trip to South Africa. And that was in 2019, 2019.
And your family went with you, right?
Yep. So it was having the opportunity to have my feet touch the soil of the motherland, South Africa, and to take my kids with me and my husband to be there for that experience. But then to be able to go to a local university there in Pretoria, near Johannesburg, and to speak life into about 75 girls that look like me, that the world has told them what they can't do, what they can't be, who they can't be, what they can't accomplish, try to define them by their past, and to be able to share my story and to literally see tears like streaming down their face at the idea of what's possible if you commit to it, if you're determined, if you have tenacity and won't give up. That has to be the best experience of literally my entire journey in 13 years.
Wow, I love it. Yeah, I just got invited out for my very first international. It'd be Dubai. So I'm like,
Yes, I
I
love
know,
it.
right? I'm like,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
excited. So what's next for you?
Whew. Continuing to raise the bar on my own expectations of what's possible and what I can accomplish and how many lives I can impact. I used to say I want to be a household name. That's not even my goal anymore. But my goal is to touch millions of lives with this idea of how powerful our voices are and the importance of amplifying your voice for as long as you are living and breathing, because it will shift the trajectory of someone else's life. You sharing your voice and your story and your lessons learned. It will create your legacy that will long outlive your physical body. And simultaneously, it will position you to create for yourself a life that maybe you thought you knew that you envisioned, but is even grander than what you ever envisioned. So it's just continuing to raise the bar of expectation and being hungry, as Les Brown would say, like really being hungry for who else can I touch? Who else can I speak to? How many other people's lives can I help somehow to just, even in a small way, shift the trajectory of their life, or help them to develop greater confidence in their voice, or help them to be more compelling? Like I just have a hunger. I wake up every day like a kid in a candy store. Like I'm excited and energized about every platform that I can leverage to use my voice in a way that makes my life bigger than me. That's my ultimate my ultimate finish line. In the interim, headed to that finish line. Again, it's creating as many stages as I can, but not only creating stages for me to share my voice, but creating stages for other women and women who look like me to share their voices. So you'll always see me bringing other speakers to my stages and my platforms. I'm hosting a 2-day event in June. I got about 20 speakers who are coming to speak at that event. I'm doing a big event, my SpeakerCon event in November. I'll have speakers coming there. I'm always doing a book project, some type of book project to allow other women to share their voices. So really lifting as I climb, opening as many doors of visibility for other women as possible. And my big thing is right now I'm working on my July 12th event, the Stage Domination Summit. Is that okay for me to share that here?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Woo. And this is a couple days after your event.
Yes.
And I'm excited. So it's a big risk. I'm bringing some heavy hitters to the space. Myself, Trent Shelton, Gloria Mayfield Banks, and Lisa Nichols will be in the building together. It's historical. It's never been done. These 4 people have never played together on the same stage in the same building on the same day in person. So I'm gearing up for that. And just, again, continuing
and
to
that's in DC.
In DC. Yep. July 12th in Washington, DC, stagedomination.com. And just, working to keep impacting as many lives as I possibly can and expanding my community and my network.
Yes. And I love being that you said that. I love what you're bringing to the 7-Figure Boss July 9th. How, you're going to bring it for these speakers, for people that are inspiring to be speakers, people that are wanting to level up their games to be speakers, just to give them a little sneak peek. But I am excited and I'm so honored and happy that you grace the 7-Figure Boss podcast today to allow for people to, get a little bit more familiar with you. Is it any last words? How can they stay connected with you?
Yeah, you can connect with me on social media. You can follow me at Cheryl Empowers. I highly encourage you to do that. And then I also have a free community, a free speaker community on Facebook called Global Speakers University. You can just go into the search bar on Facebook and type in Global Speakers University. And we give out, free resources, free content. We post speaking opportunities in that community. We ask like certain questions of the day, and it's really highly engaged. So join us over there in that community. And then what was the other question?
No.
Any
last words you want to share with them?
Yeah, get your ticket to the 7-Figure Boss Summit.
I know, right?
Right. Don't wait around. Don't wait around. Don't keep sitting and watching and waiting and wondering and shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yes.
Invest in you, especially my sisters. Like, we've got to learn how to invest more in us than on us. And this is from a woman who I love to look good, like my face beating my red bottoms. But baby, let me tell you, all of that, what you see external is a reflection of what is happening inside.
Come on.
So I am already beautiful and filled and full and healed and purposeful inside. So everything else that you see is just a reflection of the work that I've done internally first. So we've got to get to a space where we're willing to consistently invest in us, what's going on inside of us, the inner person, our mindset, and some of the skills that we want to develop so that we can create legacy and we can create wealth for ourselves. So you want to be in the building. I'm going to be there with my sister friend, Adrienne. I know she the hostess with the mostest, so I'm expecting great things. You already know. First of all, you can look at the graphics. And you can tell what an event is going to be like by looking at the graphics. And then you can come to this podcast and see how it's set up. You already know what it is. So get your ticket and come with expectation. Expectation that you're going to walk away with new connections and new knowledge that is going to help you to just move the needle on where you want to be in your life so that you become the director of your own destiny. You get to write a new chapter and you get to decide, how does this book end? And
that's
how much
right. It's time to get out of park and get in the drive.
That ain't nobody don't nobody want to be connected to a parked car. That's what
Come on.
If you ever had a car parked in your neighborhood and if it's parked there too long and there's no movement and there's no action, what do? You call the tow company. Baby, they come and tow that thing away. And where do they take it to? The junkyard. So some of you are letting your dreams, your hopes, all of that stuff go to the junkyard because you on park. You parked on the side and you want somebody to connect with you and partner with you, ain't nobody connecting and partnering with no parked car. So you got to make sure that you in movement towards what you want, so that other people want to come on board and they want to be a part of what you already have that's in motion.
Woo! Thank you. Thank you so much, sis. I
Thank
just
you.
love you. If y'all want more of this, y'all have already heard how y'all can connect with her. She got a free community. Ain't no excuses. Okay. So she done already set that up. She done already told y'all how y'all can go to, what is it,
Yes.
CherylEmpowers.com.
Yes.
Come on, y'all. This is a new year. You
Yes.
know, I'm about to, wait a minute. You had a few little, oh, somebody said, thank you, ladies. I enjoyed this interview. Then they said, from the inside out. Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much, Cheryl.
My
Thank
pleasure. Thank you
you.
for having me, and thank you for all the greatness that you bring to the world. I love your energy and the space from which you function. And I cannot wait to be in your city with you in July.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. You have a blessed one. Mwah.
Thank you. You too. Mwah. Good night.
Good night. Guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in. And like she shared, do not forget to go get your ticket. You do not want to miss out on this summit. If y'all have seen the lineup, it ain't nothing but a whole bunch of millionaires that's going to be shutting it down in 2023. But most of all, don't forget to go over there and follow your girl's podcast, the Seven Figure Boss Podcast. Until then, I will see y'all next week. Bye. I'm out of here.